Hello, students. Let's talk about proportionality in geometry or scale drawings. So this is actually pretty basic. If you got the constant of proportionality down, that's what a scale is. It's just your constant. You're going to use it to make things bigger or smaller. Now, a scale drawing is exactly the same as the original drawing. The scale is just exactly the same, except bigger or smaller. Take a map, for example. Our project this week is a map. A map obviously cannot be the same size as the real world because you wouldn't be able to fold it up and put it in your glove compartment. So it's got to be smaller. But if you don't have the exact scale on everything, then it looks funny. So you have to have the scale right. So this little b here is a ½ inch, and this little b here is 2 inches. What is the scale? Right? So we're going to take the 2 inch divided by the ½ inch, and that gives us the scale, which is 4. Okay, 2 divided by a half equals 4. So if I want to go from here, I've got to multiply by my scale factor to get here. I figure like constant of proportionality, you divide to figure out what it is, but to make the scale drawing, you have to multiply by the scale factor. So if this was a ½ inch and I multiply by my scale factor of 4, then this becomes 2 inches. And the scale works, it has to be correct on all parts of the drawing or the drawing looks funny. Right? Let's take a look for an example here. Brainy she takes a photo and she wants to scale it, okay? She started with an 8x8 photo and she wants it to be 6x6. So is she going to make it bigger or smaller? Right? Smaller, right? Here's an 8x8 photo and here's a 6x6. I made it. Come on, let's stop messing around here. All right, so here's the 8x8 photo and there's the 6x6. So the copy is smaller. So what is the scale factor? Right here it says it's 3/4. If I change my scale factor, now I'm making my scale factor bigger than 1, it becomes bigger. What happens if I make my scale factor smaller than 1? So here's my scale factor, it's smaller than 1, 1/4. My copy is smaller. So if it's bigger than 1, copy gets bigger. If it's smaller than 1, the copy gets smaller. That's what scale factor does. That's your basic multiplication, right? If I multiply by 2, things get twice as big. If I multiply by 3, things get 3 times as big. But if I multiply by a half, I'm cutting them half as big. If I multiply by a quarter, they're 1/4 as big. What happens if I multiply by exactly 1? That's right, they get exactly the same. So a scale factor of 1 is the original size. A scale factor of more than 1 is bigger. You're blowing things up. If a scale factor of less than 1, things get smaller. Let's say I go through a couple questions here, right? So for the duplicate photo to be larger, the scale factor has to be what? Yes. If the duplicate photo is going to be smaller, then the scale factor has to be less than 1. What happens if our scale factor is exactly 1? They are the same size. So let's go on here. If she wants it to be an 8x6, so she original is 8 and the copy is 6, what's our scale factor? How did we get that 3/4? Did we do 6 divided by 8 or did we do 8 divided by 6? Copy divided by the original. So it should be 6 divided by 8, and that's smaller, the copy is smaller, so we know this must be less than 1. So the duplicate is smaller than the original. Okay. So we took the duplicate and we said 6 divided by 8 equals 3/4, right? The equivalent ratio, like equivalent fractions, is the same. So it was the duplicate divided by the original, not the other things. Okay. All right. So that's scale factor, and then we'll go on in just a minute and use it.